Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, and thank you for joining us once again, the Modern Stars of Gaming. I'm Kaiju Crybaby K, and with me here is Necro Not Again Nick.
No, not again. Never Dark Souls.
Mamma Mia! Bear Maxine.
Howdy, howdy, everybody.
And Sissy Scaredy Cat Poo. And tonight, as soon as we figure out what's going on with the actual pages and Necro being MIA again, I mean, I know he's there.
I'm not MIA. I'm touching it.
Okay, well, anyway, he's there. He's there in spirit. Um, he's a ghost. He's a ghost. Tonight's little show here will be. Oh gosh, I'm dying here. Will be a wonderful little tribute to what scared you when you were younger, or what movies have you watched that have basically changed how you feel about the world itself, maybe. I only say that because the whole idea of horror movies kind of lost a lot of its feel when I went into the military. But when I was younger, oh boy, there were a couple, and a lot of them weren't even horror movies that were scaring me. A lot of them were supposed to be kids' movies. Oh, but as per the usual, we're going to start off with you, Necro. Now, you're a pretty tough guy, wouldn't you say that?
Oh, yeah.
You're not afraid of no ghosts?
Hell no.
All right. So, since you seem to be the tough guy of the group here, because I'm going to admit some terrors I've had, why don't we start with you? What was a movie that you saw that was either something that actually scared you or startled you or just made you change your thoughts or change your personality?
Well, I mean, the first movie I ever watched, I think you remember from, childhood and everything like that, that was a scary movie, was Candyman.
Ooh, Candyman was a pretty spook movie.
But it didn't scare me, but I think it brought me to my interest of supernatural things.
Oh, the idea of staring into a camera and saying
Yes.
Candyman 3 times and him coming after you. Hey,
I mean, same with like Bloody Mary, they've always sparked my interest. And as kind you know, I am quite a supernatural freak that would like fucking give up his life just to do that stuff.
right. There's nothing wrong with that. So, can you remember what caused you to change your feelings about Candyman? Was it just the idea of it, or did it actually scare you? The idea of it. Okay.
The idea when things are technically dimensional openings to other things.
Are you resting that on your chest again, buddy? Your phone?
No.
Okay, because you're kind of coming in and out. Okay, well let's jump over to our regent, scary lady here. Mama Bear Maxine, what about you? Can you name a movie that had some kind of major effect on you, whether it's horror or not?
Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, the original. Would you care to tell us about this terror? Terror?
Well, let's see here. I was approximately 6 years old
Mm-hmm.
around the time that I was able to see it for the first time.
Okay.
Since then, I haven't really cared too much about going in or around cemeteries, especially late at night.
That is interesting. It was it was like the start to the zombie craze too. So I mean, it was a pretty good movie. Now,
Oh, yeah.
Now we had somebody bring up Candyman. That's a horror movie, and we had somebody bring up Night of the Living Dead. That's a horror movie. Now for everyone to get a chance to laugh at Kaiju K.
Oh,
Wait,
it's too
save your
early.
ammo. Save your ammo. Because this might be funny to a lot of people. But a movie that actually scared me when I was a kid was an animated movie called The Brave Little Toaster. Yeah, laugh at me. But there was a reason I was scared of that movie, and I'll explain it. Um, Up until that time in my life, I had always watched, happy-go-lucky movies where once they broke into song and dance, nothing bad happened. But in The Brave Little Toaster, there were two scenes I can remember. One, they were in a chop shop, and all the broken appliances were singing about how they'll get their guts ripped out and their hearts torn apart. And then you watch as the guy comes in and tears apart this little radio, and it's screaming and it's asking for help. It's begging. That actually frightened me because up until that point, I never saw anything like that. And then to make matters worse, when they got into the junkyard where all the cars were being destroyed and the song was being played and they were getting closer to death, and even the main character, the kid who they were all looking for, was now a teenager. The machines actually attack him. They actually grab him and throw on the line, and he's about to get killed. And he's getting, and it's just like when I was a young age. I was like 4 or so when I saw this movie. This was pretty traumatizing to me. I mean, movies like Jaws and Aliens really didn't eat me up as much as that movie did right there, and I'm willing to admit it. A lot of people might be laughing at me, but you know what? Go ahead and laugh. That movie effed me up. Oh, okay, now that I've dumped my heart out, Necro, how about another one?
Well, I'm actually going to do a group of movies.
Oh.
And this is going to throw you like Kaiju K's did.
Okay.
But not in the terrifying aspect. It's how terrifying my mind was that I realized the adultness of the movies.
Okay.
And that's almost every Disney one.
Oh. He's whipping out Disney. He's calling you out, Disney. Mickey Mouse, he's calling you out. You better bring them gloves. He's swinging.
Because, these feel good, wholesome family movies also had so many dark and adult references in them that my parents were scared that I actually understood them.
Let's not bring up Lion King, all right? I see where you're going.
Yeah.
I see where you're going in this.
I mean, it's not just Lion King, and it's all of them.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, that's a really good example of a movie that was meant for kids, but the underlying tone was adult and very dark.
Yes.
Like, I'm just giving an example to people at home. When you were a kid and you watched
will send you in the back.
like I was about to say, now that you're adults, go ahead and rewatch The Lion King and realize what really is going on out there. There is all kinds of references to horrible acts in human history throughout that movie. And okay, I see where you would go with Disney flicks. They hid a lot of very adult-rated content in them.
Yes.
So I can vouch for that. All right, Mama Bear, you wanna throw another one out?
You know what? Actually, I'm drawing a blank. You took the Disney thing away from me, kinda.
Oh, well, all right. I'll throw an interesting funnel into the loop. This is a movie that scares me to this day, but for a reason that many people may not fully comprehend. Now, as many of you know, I'm an ex-infantry soldier. While I was in the service, I got to a lot of thought about how easy it is to end a life. Please don't do it, folks. It's not the ending of the life, it's the living with it. But while I was there, I began looking at a lot of the past horror movies that I had watched as a child. And a lot of them I suddenly started thinking, or I said when I was younger, a lot of them were suddenly very funny to me. Movies that suddenly, to a person who has seen war and been trained to end lives, suddenly didn't seem so scary. Movies like Scream, or heck, even Friday the 13th, movies like that suddenly seemed very mundane to me. However, there was a series of movies that scared me for a simple reason. I cannot picture the proper way to fight the creatures in this movie. I could tell you how to take down Jaws. What?
Tremors?
Oh no, those guys are easy to take down. No, I'm talking about aliens. And what I mean by aliens, I mean the ones that poor Ripley had to take down.
The one that's crawling out of my belly?
Yeah, that one. Now the reason for it is this, and I'm just going to go into a little bit of tactical knowledge. This will take like a minute or two. The aliens are very fast-moving, very large creatures. They can cover distance very quickly. They blend into their environment. They're only ever found in pitch-black areas, so ranged weaponry will never really benefit you. So that means that you have to focus on close-range combat and close-range weapons, which they specialize in, and of course they have acidic blood at that point-blank range that splashes on you, will turn you basically into a puddle of blood. Not to mention they've got squiggly, squaggly penis spiders running around that if they jump onto your face, they slam their wingworm down your throat and forcibly face rape you until you have their kids later, which literally kill you.
And then breed you, too.
Oh, yeah, it's, woo. But that movie scares me for a different reason. It's not so much a reason of they're the most terrifying thing there is, because they're actually not so scary if you look at it from the point of view that if you were to take the same creatures and put them into our environments, they'd be very easy to get rid of. One or two people, or even one or two civilians armed with an AR-15 and a couple clips could easily take them down. They're not the perfect hunt as the Predators put them down to be. They're far from it. But on their terms, on their property, on their terrain, they are very unstoppable.
And which is why the Predators always hunt them on their brain. Right. To make them elite hunt.
Well, right. But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
But from the point I'm saying is that I have always prided myself in being able to think, plan, or outthink and outplan everything and anything I run into. It's a favorite thing of mine to do. Find a law, find a loophole in it, and there you go. However, when it comes to those creatures, other than carrying like a 50,000 megawatt flashlight on your shoulder and a small minigun, your chances of winning those fights are not ever in your favor.
No.
So Necro, you got any more you want to throw at us? A few more movies that are feel good and terrifying before I have to start throwing ones that make people laugh again?
Well, another one that spurred my all love for the supernatural would have to be the Poltergeist.
The original Poltergeist. That was a pretty fascinating movie to watch. It was.
To have the knowledge of how even an exorcism could completely not even work until like they pull out the big guns has amazed me throughout my life. And you need to be specialized in so much just to defeat something that's not knowledge.
I see what you're talking about. Yeah. The Exorcism, or it's not the Exorcism, sorry, the Poltergeist was a very fun movie, I'd have to say, to watch. It is definitely interesting, but it kind of also ranks up there with one of those movies that I don't think would ever happen if it were in my shoes. Oh, this is a wonderful house. This is great. What's wrong with it? Oh, it was put on top of Indian burial grounds. I'm not living here. Goodbye.
No, yeah.
Now, this is sacred ground. I'm not living on top of it. Peace. And that movie would have happened to a different family.
The only way you would have been safe is if you had a native living with you.
Well, that's correct. If a Native American were living with you, but then again, I bet you if a Native American would find out that it was built on top of sacred Native American grounds, they would look at you and say, no, no, and no, and then you wouldn't live there anyway.
This is also true.
The point to that is, okay, well, back in the older days, real estate agents didn't really do as much research as what newer ones do.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of the houses that are built, even possibly the one that I live in,
Mm-hmm.
you never know how much predated stuff before it was written down actually happened on an area.
Well, right. But that also goes back.
So,
Keep going, Nick.
God,
Yeah, I'll wait.
I was going to say, so, I mean, yeah, you may have the full history of what was written down, but you never truly know if a property is safe.
Well, right. I can see where you're going with that one. But that also goes back to my argument of uh, the Amityville horror. You walk in front of the house, you walk inside of it, and then you hear an eerie voice going, "Get out!" And then the realtor goes, "Oh, it's just the wind."
No, get the hell out.
That's right, but you don't know the full story of it. For all you know, for some strange reason, the house could just be designed that the wind actually makes it sound like it says, "Get out." In which case, that's a fixer-upper. Still, I would have left and come back with kerosene.
Yes.
Get out! Get bent! The house is on fire! Oh no, someone lit my house on fire! And collect the insurance money?
That is why, no matter where I move to, I like to smudge where I'm moving
Correct.
before I move there.
There you go. So time for people to laugh at me again.
Well, hang on. Unlike UK, where you like to burn spooky things, because, that is the most intelligent way of doing things, I would probably still stay in the house and be like, yeah, I'm gonna fight this motherfucker.
Right. But that goes between common sense and uncommon sense. I have common sense. You have uncommon sense. You say, I can win this fight. I say, I'm not going to tempt fate.
No, it just goes to our differences where I love the supernatural and I'm intrigued by it, or you use the logical, something's more powerful than me here, I'm gonna get out of here.
Yes, it's a survival instinct. It's called living.
Yeah.
It's a hobby. I've been doing it for 37 years. It's not always the best hobby, but it only ends when I die.
I've been doing it for 32 years.
I know, but what I'm saying is, every chance I get to stay alive a little bit longer, I'm going to take that. I'm actually a very supernatural person in the way the beliefs that I hold supernatural entities and such at a very high, stay the hell away from me kind of level, because you don't know what's going to go down. But now let's talk about another funny movie that I was scared of when I was a kid. All right, you might laugh at this, but there was once a story. It was a never-ending story. That's okay. Because that's the joke. The movie's called Never Ending Story, and the entity I'm about to tell you about exists literally for about 15 seconds in the movie, and that is it. It lives long enough in vision to die. It's not even like it's a powerful creature. It lives long enough to just die to the hero. It's called The Nothing. And in the original movie, the animatronic creature that was actually the Nothing was so terrifying to me that I would often hide my face when I knew it was coming up, even though it was only there for a brief moment, just long enough to snarl, show its face, jump out, and get stabbed to death. I don't know why. It's kind of like in The Indian in the Cupboard, where the cat suddenly jumps out at the tunnel at you. It scares me. I didn't know why. Nowadays, it's not so scary. But back then, pins and needles. I knew the scene was coming up. I felt it in my stomach, my toes, and I'm like, nope, nope, nope. And I just closed my eyes until I heard it die. True story, man. True story. The next one on my list is actually a movie that changed my life, but we'll jump to you, Necro, to see if you have any movies.
What about Maxine?
Maxine told us that she's out of movies because she went blank because of you and your Disney steal.
I didn't steal. I just said first.
That's what Disney says. We didn't steal the story. We told it first.
Sissy Pooh, would you like to take a gander?
What's
My lovely grandmother, I'm not gonna name names. The movie I used to watch was Mommy Dearest, and my grandmother reminded me of it.
So the movie was Mommy Dearest. Now, this was a movie that actually didn't frighten me, but it was an older flick, and apparently it drove Sissy Pooh to drink.
Literally.
Literally. Was there anything in particular about the movie that you didn't like, or was it just the whole movie in general?
Let's just say, Grandma used to do things that the lady in the movie used to do.
So what you're saying is you weren't so much scared of the movie as your grandmother, who did things similar to the movie. So the movie didn't scare you, your grandmother scared you. That doesn't count. We're talking about movies, not props. I mean, it's not bad. Everyone has a fear, you know? I'm afraid of heights and needles. Yes, I'm afraid of heights. That's why listen, that's why on my lapel it didn't say air jump and air assault, it said scuba and field medic. All right? I hate heights. I don't like high things. I'd rather be under the sea than falling from the sky. What was that, Necro?
I hate spiders.
Necro's got a fear of spiders. Even Maxine's and Sissy Pooh have fears.
Where I want to carry a flame thrower with me at all times.
I have a fear of snakes.
Maxine's scared of snakes, see?
Well, see, Anaconda could be a scary movie for you then.
Or snakes on a plane, or
Well, no. No, that was actually pretty funny.
No, Snakes on a Plane is comedy.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, you want to talk about someone who's scared of snakes? It's not Necro. It's Reaper Rose.
Yeah.
Spiders.
So yeah, spiders. She is so scared of them. She actually asked her youngest daughter Riley to pick up a spider and take it out of the house because she wouldn't go near it. And Riley picked it up and looked at her and said, "Really, Mom?"
My friend Tori's afraid of gummy worms. Any kind of worms.
Oh, one of their friends is scared of worms.
Huh.
I don't know why.
No,
I even went, I
like
ran
something like small common spiders they too.
Right.
They don't bother me. But like bring a tarantula bone, I'm bringing it to fire.
Hmm. So,
Spiders don't prove it.
right. Well, spiders give you more than just the heebie-jeebies, though. You know, they're straight on a fear of yours, and if you had a flamethrower, you would use it to baptize the house in fire if you saw one.
Oh yeah.
I
Okay. A strange movie here.
okay.
Because I watched I think the movie was called
We're losing you again, Nick.
I believe the movie was called Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth. Oh, now that movie was freaky. Yeah, they did a great job. Oh, what are you saying?
There was a lot of creepy monsters in there.
Yes.
But the one that truly frightened me, actually, because I did watch it at a very young age, was the one out its eyes until he opened up his hands.
The Pale Man.
Yes.
Yeah, the Pale Man. Oh, he was well done. He was a freaky monster. He was.
Yes.
The most I've ever seen of that movie was the previews. Unfortunately, because I don't like to read subtitles.
You don't like to read, period. Yeah. That's why I can't bring her into some of the good anime that hasn't been released in the U.S. yet.
Right.
I like to read.
Now, there is a movie that ironically changed a lot of my aspects in life just by watching it once. Now, I watched this movie when I was in a really bad point of my life. I was very depressed. I didn't want to do anything with my life. I just basically wanted to wait for somebody to just off me. And then I watched this movie. Now, the problem is that right now I am drawing a blank to the name. However, it was a Will Smith movie. And in it, Will Smith played a homeless father and his son. And they had to, like, hide and live in bathrooms and fall and sleep where they could. And
The Pursuit of Happiness.
The Pursuit of Happiness. There it is. And let me tell you, it opened my eyes to just how difficult life can be. But also that if you don't give up, you may never be able to get to true happiness, but you can bring yourself to a point where you are happy. And if anyone wants to go watch it, please do. It's a very stunningly well done movie. Great actors, great music, great storyline. It had me in tears. It had my heart pumping because I had felt a lot like I was these people. And by watching them, I realized that I still had it pretty good. And if I allowed myself to go down a bad rabbit hole, I probably wouldn't be able to come out of it. And then Jesse found out I was back in town. And then I met Reaper Rose, and I met you again, and the whole story just goes from there. We don't need to tell that one. Because that would probably have us have to make this into a R+ rated video, and we're not going there.
Yeah.
Do you think of anything else, Mama Bear? A movie that maybe changed your life or outlook, or made you interested in something? Legally Blonde, perhaps? Liar, Liar, maybe? Patch Adams, perhaps? Nacho Libre? The Diddler? The Tiddler?
Oh, now stop.
I'm the waddler.
The Waddler? So is there like a movie out there, perhaps, that maybe made you interested or changed something a little about your life?
Well, I wasn't very interested in history when I was in high school. And then I ended up watching Titanic.
Oh, Titanic.
Uh,
With Leonardo DiCaprio.
I had the liberty of speaking to my great-grandmother about it. And she knew quite a bit. She actually got me hooked on history, if you will.
Ah, so your great-grandmother knew a lot about the Titanic, and after watching the movie, you kind of jumped onto researching history.
Right, because she had brought up that her mother, which would have been my great-great-grandmother, was actually one of the survivors.
Wow, now that's interesting. That's actually an interesting history lesson right there. Do you know if she was a richer woman on the Titanic or a poorer woman?
She was a middle-class child.
Middle-class child on the Titanic. Your great-great-grandmother?
Yep.
Now that's pretty interesting right there. That's more interesting than the fact that I'm scared of the brave little toaster. Let's pretend that never happened, and this is the most important part of the story.
Her and her mother both survived.
Her and?
Her mother.
Oh, so not only did your great-great-grandmother survive, but your great-great-great-grandmother survived too.
Yep.
My goodness, you Scandinavians are some hardy water people, ain't you?
They actually boarded the ship and Ireland?
So they swam up to it with their Viking longboats and commandeered the ship. They boarded it. Came in with their flailing axes and hopped up on berserker mushrooms. Oh! Well, I was hoping this would become a more interesting story. Probably just made it more interesting.
A little bit.
You can't even help but laugh. You're mad about it, but you can't help but smile. I win. Your face is never straight. Bye, at best. That's right, snorting in the background. All right, honey, keep going. I'll stop.
She also told me about how my great-grandfather was working in the coal mines and stuff.
That's pretty
She
interesting.
also told me about the Shepton Oneida mine collapse,
Okay.
which he was involved in.
Oh, so your great, I'm trying to get it right. Your great-grandfather
Yes.
was part of the Shepton Oneida coal mine collapse.
Yep.
Did he survive?
He survived.
Oh, okay. Phew. You are some hardy people. Freaking the earth falling on you, an iceberg ripping a boat in half. You guys are still standing? My goodness, I thought I was a cockroach. Seriously, I've never been on a boat that got split in half before, but I'm pretty sure if I did, I'd be a little bit more panicky. They were probably like, hoist the missionaries! Flip the boat over! We'll pillage the other ships! Arr! Sorry, I forget. Wrong era. Or who knows? Maybe that could be the reason why there was the unsinkable Molly Brown. Perhaps there was a war between these two upside down tables. We don't know. We weren't there.
Right?
We weren't there. Things could have happened.
Exactly. I just find a lot of that stuff interesting now. Like even she told me that she was around for so long that she watched the Twin Towers go up, and she also watched them come down.
Now,
That's really something.
That's something right there. You watched as they were built. You saw them at their highest. She saw them at their highest point, and then she watched them fall. That would actually be pretty heartbreaking. I mean, it's still a great tragedy, and everyone will find it heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
But to imagine being young enough to watch it start getting built, and then watch it be built, and watch it through its strongest years, and then to watch it collapse, that monument of man's creation, that probably took a lot out of her right there.
Yep. And sadly, I lost her about 2 years after that.
Well, my condolences, hon. Really, she sounded like a wonderfully tough person.
She was great.
Well, now my next story doesn't seem nearly as good. The next movie I was going to bring up was going to be something I thought was going to be funny, but after that, it's like, maybe I should just give up now, man. Jeez. All right. Well, another movie of mine that I watched, not that I've actually made. Jeez, the only one of us who got any votes on the movies we made was Maxine over here. You know, Maxine got 12 votes for her movie.
Oh, really?
Her little Care Bear movie. Yeah, she got 12 votes for that thing. You know how many the rest of us got? Zero. Mama Bear Maxine stole that. She completely stole that match. What was that? What was that back there? That's right. Stare at your tie-dye, hippie. Anyway, another movie that I watched that had an interesting effect on me. Well, I wouldn't say it was an interesting effect, so to speak, but I feel personally that it was an interesting effect. Was the movie called Silence of the Lambs? Hannibal Lecter. Now, here's what really made me a fan of Mr. Lecter and made me watch all of his movies, including the prequel, which just absolutely sucked. And that movie was... All of the movies are supposed to be horror tales. But what I really look at is I see them as a different type of movie. It's Hannibal Lecter protecting someone precious to him. In every movie, he's always seen trying to protect somebody with his knowledge. Now, don't get me wrong, he is nowhere near a good guy. He's a brain-eating psychopath who can trick you into letting him kill you. Like, he is a genius on levels that are quite dearly frightening. He never.
As long as your name is Clarice, you're good.
Right. I'm not saying not. But what I'm saying is, like, he never lied. He told people the truth. He told them exactly what they needed to know. But he found loopholes in everything he said that was like, you didn't tell me, he was a psychopath. And he was like, well, I didn't think I would have to tell you after you found the first couple girls dead and skinned.
Yeah.
He was very blunt with his words. He was very, very truthful and honest, and that's what actually not just scared me about him. Because up until that point, killers I saw were things like the Joker or Kruger or Voorhees. These maniacs who would just rip you apart. They didn't care if they had to lie, cheat, or steal to kill you. But then you run into this super intelligent human, and not just a human, an older. I believe he's portrayed in his 50s in the movie.
Yeah.
He's beyond his twilight years. He's about to go into his golden oldies, But the man is smart enough, spry enough, intelligent enough, tactical enough to take down 3 well-trained security guards with firearms, escape, and then later on come and save Claire again from being eaten by man-eating pigs, which he somehow knew that if he stood still or something, that they wouldn't come after him. I mean, he was just absolutely brilliant, and he made me change my outlook on life in kind of a scary way, where I realized that intelligence was basically the most important thing a person could have, and that if you weren't an intelligent person, you were basically a play toy for the people that were intelligent. And I feel that that's kind of scary, that that's how it changed my outlook in life. And if I found people who were intelligent, well, they were people that I could get in with, I could talk to, I could hold myself in esteem with. Like your brother, he may not have been book smart, but your brother was super intelligent in far more things than he should have been.
Yeah.
At his age, he shouldn't have been able to read off the chemical composites and directions on how to make napalm by closing his eyes and humming a song he made up.
Yeah, that's
like your brother made songs up in his head so he could remember how to create things like napalm and bleach bombs and things like that. I'm not saying your brother's terrorist. He was smarter in other categories too. But like, that scared me about it. But he was also that smart that a lot of the school, they looked at him and like, oh, you're going to be an idiot for the rest of your life. And he's like, you wish I was going to be an idiot the rest of my life, don't you? Truth is, I know more than you know. Okay, Necro. Next up on your list of possible movie changes, or are you close to done?
Oh, I'm never close to done.
That's what she said.
All night long.
All night long, all night. All night, copyright strike, all night.
But this is a genre or a type of movie,
Okay,
I guess.
no problem. Jump on it.
And, well, as I was growing up through my years, I always found myself drawn to vampire movies.
Yes, Mr. Impaler, we know.
Huh?
I said, yes, Mr. Impaler, we know.
Well, that's what I'm getting. Don't be ruining it.
I didn't ruin it yet. For all they know, that's a nickname. For all they know, that's just a nickname. Don't you ruin it.
But, so, like, eventually after watching several of them, I was like, Dad, why do these seem like I should know something about my past?
Okay.
And it's like, well, strangely enough, our relatives do descend from Transylvania, because some of our relatives actually moved from Italy to Transylvania.
Ah.
And I found out that the original Vlad the Impaler was a descendant of mine, or I'm a descendant of his. Sorry.
Ah.
So that's why I guess my intrigue of vampires was always highlighted to me.
Ah. So I guess that what you're gonna say is that you really do like vampires a lot. For instance, like,
I would say I'm an obsession with them.
well, what are your feelings on, say, Underworld?
See, I think the way that they portrayed it is they were never enemies until somebody shedded blood first.
Ah.
I don't think they were trying to keep each other captive or anything like that. I think they were well respected of each other's like ways of life.
Okay. What about Blade?
They are similar in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
I love Blade, to be honest with you, because in modern representation of vampires, they are considered evil because they do the monstrous things that they do. And I think you do need somebody to even the level.
Mm-hmm. I see. Well, what about Blade? How would you feel about that movie?
Well, that's what I said.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Interview with the Vampire. Sorry,
Interview with a vampire,
which, by the way, is my favorite vampire movie. Just throwing it out there.
is probably the most best representation of a true vampire.
Okay.
Because first off, vampires aren't allergic or deathly from like sunlight or anything like that. They're just hypersensitive.
Right.
They don't sparkle either.
Well, now you've predicted what the next movie I was going to say is, so now I can skip that one.
For all you twihards out there.
Twihards. Twinkle Light.
Yeah.
Vampires don't sparkle.
Vampire and Dracula Untold, to an extent, were like two of the best representations of vampire movies.
All right, well, I can agree with that.
Dracula Untold, he was still light sensitive and would die from it. No, that's not true. They're just hypersensitive and it bothers their eyes. That's why they prefer to be out in the dark.
Right.
They can still step into the sun. They're just not going to have all their capabilities of senses.
Right. Well, I mean, there are actually, you can look this up, folks. There are people who are born who are not only hypersensitive to sunlight to begin with, there are also people who are actually allergic to sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, I mean, you can look at these people, and even if vampires didn't exist, I'm not saying they didn't, but even if they didn't, you can kind of see where if there are people now who have if they go out in the sunlight, they start to burn because their skin is allergic to it, or that their eyes are so sensitive that they can't look out at it. You can kind of see where those stories came from.
Yes.
I mean, you can tell people just how sensitive your sense of smell is.
Yeah. I have a very good sense of smell.
You and Mom.
I can smell a deer running from a mile away.
Right. You and Maxine have super sensitive sniffers. So you can kind of see where.
Also, I do suffer with the sunlight too, not to a deadly or anything like that. But like, you know how most people, when they come in from the sun to like their house, you know how it's darker,
Yeah.
and they go suntan from that. I'm the opposite. If I go from the sun to the house, I'm fine, but if vice versa, I become sunblind.
Mm. But yeah, that's pretty bad. But what what I'm getting at is you could kind of see with people who have senses of smell as sensitive as your guys, how maybe the idea of strong garlic making people back off could have created the idea of vampires as well. There are some people who could have sense of smell so strong that, I mean, garlic's a strong scent.
Yeah.
All right? I mean, especially garlic oil, which happens when you cut it up. So, I mean, you could kind of see where that could come from.
But ironically, no sense of smell actually bothers me.
Oh, I never said it did, except for what happened to the refrigerator.
Well, yeah.
You and my brother both, you guys had to bail on that one. I was forced to do that one by myself. Thank goodness the military killed my sense of smell years ago.
Mustard gas will do that to you.
It wasn't mustard gas. Pizza gas. Anyway, Mamba Bear. You want to talk about any other movies that have started you, spooked you a bit, or maybe changed your life, maybe even for the better, or made something seem very interesting to you that you two love to this day?
Not really, except for I do enjoy the paranormal.
Right, you and Necro and me all do enjoy the paranormal.
And there wasn't really a movie or anything that really sparked it. It just kind of was there. I don't really know.
So like an interest that slowly built over time.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you hadn't watched supernatural movies, you may not have gained that interest.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what he's going at with his genre. You know, to him, vampire movies were a genre that just drove him into it. Yours was supernatural. That's fine. Mine was anime. But you know, no good anime goes unpunished. But hey, maybe that's something we could do one day when our numbers get up high enough. You know, maybe when we get high enough numbers, we could go and visit a supposedly haunted location and live stream it. You know, see if we make it. I mean, I already know what we're doing for our 500,000 viewer special, and I know what we're doing for our 1 million viewer special. So, Necro's already. Well, I was about to say because Maxine doesn't know, so I don't know if she wants to be part of these or not. Now, for our 500,000 viewer special, that's when we get 500,000 viewers. I was speaking to the owner of Dorney Park a couple years back, and they have a very tall water tower. I believe it's called Splashdown.
Yes.
And the idea was that they would remove the shields above it and put ice in it. Now we would be protected. We would be protected with with armor and everything like that. I have picked it out. But basically the idea was the world's largest ice bucket challenge. 50,000 gallons of water and ice dumped down on top of us with no roofs or railings in between. Just basically getting hit by a tsunami's worth of water. With medics on hand. Medics and scuba on hand. You know, we'd make it safe. He was super interested about it. He loved the idea. But the 1 million special, that might be the one that Maxine's sick of, so she might not do that one. For the 1 million viewer special, don't you ruin the surprise. Let me tell him. You're going to love it. The Medical College in Philadelphia will allow you to, with some money, to sit down in basically a circular room, like an auditorium, while people watch, and they will attach special electrodes on your body that will stimulate your body to feel like it's having contractions.
Can I push the button?
Oh, no, you're going to be part of it. The idea is who lasts the longest.
Yeah, that's one I'm not looking forward to, but I'll still be part of.
Right. But we got to get 1 million subscribers for that one. We're at 71. So the Splashdown at Splash Mountain and the Who's Your Daddy challenge. Maxine hasn't said yes to either one, but she did say yes to pushing the button.
You're not allowed to push the button. That's a medical only use.
Well, here's the thing. How they state it is they start off how you would be feeling like an hour out. How the contractions would feel. And as you get closer, they actually have a machine that will stimulate and change it up as it gets closer to the birth. And I said, that sounds fine. And I'll do it live. And if people donate money, I don't care if I say turn it off. We'll add more time to it, just to see how far we can push this machine. Now, the doctor said if like my heart rate hits a certain rate or something, he has to shut it down. I said, that's fine. But we're doing it for the donations. That's 1 million subscribers. So, Mama Bear Max, would you like to be a part of the Splashdown at Splashdown?
Sure.
Would you like to be part of the Who's Your Daddy challenge?
I think I'll sit that one out.
Okay,
she's gonna labor pains before.
She's gonna sit out the 1 million subscriber one. That's fine. I'm okay with that one.
Let's just say I lasted.
She don't need to have it simulated.
She's already had it for real. She doesn't need to simulate it. But I will say this much. She is not allowed to be in the doctor's operating room at that point because I'm afraid she'll just take the doctor out and crank it up to max on us. So she's laughing at her. She's going to do it. She's going to club the doctor and shut up. If you're reading this right now, don't let her do it. Armed guards.
I have lasted
Well, here's the thing. Once you reach the 1 hour mark, it doesn't stop. It continues to get more. So I think they said that the longest person who's ever stayed on the machine stood on it for 43 minutes. Well, the longest male who stayed on it has been 43 hours. So, I mean, I'm not trying to break a record here. But if they start donating enough money to our donations, I might be forced to see just how tough I can be and just put more electrodes on me. Put them everywhere. Crank up the juice, and then I become a superhero. So, or villain. I haven't figured it out yet.
I lasted 48 hours before I asked for my epidural. So, there's that.
Yeah, but you're not doing it.
But I'm not, no.
We have Necro, who transforms pain into pleasure and laughs at it. And we have myself, who's a trained military soldier. I'm not saying we're going to win. I'm not saying we're going to last 2 hours. I'm not saying we're going to last 10 minutes. All right? This is a different kind of pain.
Yes.
So what I am saying is that when we reach 1 million subscribers, that's what we're going to do. And if I have to be the only one who does it, for whatever reason, slap them freaking electrodes on me and let's do this, Doc. And
I'll be there.
Yep. And on that day, 1 million subscribers signed up all at once for Kaiju K. No, don't you dare. And don't you share this. Nobody share this video. I don't need no one knowing about this. Oh crap, I shared this on the internet already. They'll never make it this far. No one ever makes it to the end of my live streams. But now, I'd like to talk about next week's live stream, if we may.
Sure.
Now, Subliminal came up with a rather strange challenge. I'm not 100% sure we'll be able to do it, but he had a challenge of scary stories. You think you could write a scary story?
I might be able to.
I don't know. I might be able to come up with something.
Well, I'm just saying, this is just a suggestion from Subliminal. Maybe he'll join us next week as well. Now, here's going to be the idea. Write the story down. And even if you just have to, like, type it down on Facebook, you know? Share it through Messenger, and during the live stream, I'll put up everybody's horror stories on our actual Facebook page. Then we can talk about something else. But a good idea would be to get all those live streams going, or all those stories going, and see if anyone likes any of them. And while we're at it, we can't have it to have anything to do with any of our movies that we made up.
Okay.
So no Killer Care Bears, queen of the movies. I'm looking at you. Or killer toys in general? No, good. Now, unfortunately, I kind of made a boo-boo, and I'm going to have to actually cut the live stream short this week and end it in about 4 minutes. Now, the reason for that is I had an emotional breakdown a few days ago. You might have heard about that. I don't know if anyone did. And it left me pretty garbaged. So I was unable to do any recordings of Alien Isolation, which is also fun. And I'm so glad that nobody's watching them yet. Because I'm afraid that when people do, they're going to be like, this guy made fun of Necro for all these years, but he's screaming like a little baby in these movies. But another thing is, Necro, if you could get a hold of your cousin when he's not wasted, and see when and if he's capable of doing Dead by Daylight this week.
Okay.
And perhaps seeing if Cody will join us, unless we can get Sub to join us. Maybe we could have a nice rip snorting time with that.
Right.
And let's see here. We're doing Dead by Daylight videos. We're doing Alien Isolation videos. On the 12th. Now, I'm not 100% sure if they're going to hold to it or not. But on the 12th, Back for Blood is coming out.
Which I will be purchasing the 15th.
All right. Now, the thing is, I don't know when I'm going to be able to purchase it at this moment in time.
Right.
I will get it as soon as I can. However, I would definitely watch if you live streamed it, or if Sub live streamed it, or I would watch, because it was fun as heck for us.
Oh,
yeah. But that's what else is there? Among Us is coming out soon for all the systems, and it's crossplay. What are your thoughts on that?
I want it so badly.
I want it so badly I can taste it. Taste it. Oh.
But how about, as a quick thought process, we'll give 2 weeks for the whole writing the story.
Okay.
So we'll do that in 2 weeks, because I had an idea of another stream that we can do next week that's less thought processing.
Okay.
It could give time for stories to actually get typed up, everything like that, you know?
Okay, so the stories will be due in 2 weeks.
Yes.
What?
What was that, Maxine?
I feel like I'm back in school.
Yeah, shut up.
If you don't want to do it, you don't got to do it. That's part of the rules. We don't force people to do things on this channel.
Thing is that this is a 2-week thing instead of, oh, it has to be in this week at this time.
Right. Oh, okay, so... I'm sorry, what was that?
So we're giving you 2 weeks now. It gives more time and more time.
Ah.
But for next week, since we're in the spooky holiday season of October,
Yeah.
scary places that you want to visit or you have.
Ooh. Places that we have. Ooh, that could be fun. Actually, I can think of quite a few creepy places that I would love to visit. So that'll be next week's topic, and we just have to write a horror story in the next 2 weeks.
Right.
Okay, so the game, another game I wanted to bring up, it's called Run Prop Run. Now it's a prop hunt game, or a prop hunt like game that is free to download for PC, and it says mobile. Now I don't know what mobile means. Cross. I wrote down the wrong word. Hang on a second. Cross platform. Let's see here.
What's the game called?
It's called Run Prop Run. It's currently out for PC, iPhone, iPad, Android, Mac, and Linux. So right now it's not on the other systems yet, but usually these games jump onto the other systems. So I just wanted to bring that one up to you. It's called Run Prop, Run. Now it might not be Prop Hunt itself, but if we could get a couple people to look for it and download it on our phones, then we could probably do a video up on that. I could just run it on my PC so we could record it.
Well, I'm looking it up. Apparently, it's not coming up for the Google Play.
No? That's odd. Let me just... Not now. Run, prop, run. I'm dying. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Nobody will miss me. I'm fine. Hey, that's right. Huh? It didn't show up. Huh. Well, it's just one of those cross-play games I wanted to talk about.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely interested in it. I mean, there are other apps on here that seem like it would be.
Right. Well, I brought that up because I know that you brought up the idea of... Oh, man, I was just talking about it. You're the little dudes that are trying to fix the ship while the killers are hiding amongst you.
Among Us.
There it is. Yeah, I know Among Us is coming out for the PS5 and the Xbox and everything. I believe November.
Right. I think November or December. Don't quote me.
Right, well, somewhere around there. So I was wondering if maybe that could be something you'd want to do up as well.
Of course.
All right. So,
I don't care.
Well, here's the funny thing. It's going to be free on the Switch, free on the Xbox. It's free on the PlayStation when it comes out. It's free on your phone. It costs me $9 on PC. I kid you not. For once, the PC Master Race has been screwed over.
About damn time.
Yeah, but we got Ash for free and Dead by Day. Oh, who am I kidding? That was a horrible catch. He's free download, and I still don't want to download him.
I have them.
You have him? I'm so sorry to hear that.
I just choose Leon.
I was going to say, is there a reason you don't choose him? Yeah, because he's not Leon. All right, just making sure. Okay, so next week's big thing is going to be on creepy places around the world that you have or want to visit.
Yes.
Well, this is actually going to be a fun one. I know somebody who's going to do some. She's currently got a puppy dog trying to suffocate her with his butt. But I know somebody who's going to love this one. Expect Mama Bear Maxine to have a ton of ideas. It's going to run long. It's going to run long.
I know one place that your dad mentioned that you visit that I want to.
Oh, what would that be? I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a prison.
Oh, no. We're just waiting for the state to say it's okay to bomb it into oblivion. We're going to get drunk.
Now you got when you say places you have been.
Well, as long as no one brings up places that I've been, then I'm fine. Until next time, folks. I'm Kaiju K.
I'm Necro Nick.
If you can't hear, that's Sissy Poo. And we will see you all in the future. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.